Hi there, friend. I'm Marve Iconis from Lead Life Well, and I have the real pleasure of working with leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs, perhaps just like you, in helping them do what they do better. And oftentimes I see leaders on the verge of burnout. They really aren't aware of how much of their capacity they have used up without replenishing that capacity. And there are a number of things that we can do to help make our capacity go further. And one of those things is tuning in. You know, God gave us emotions to help us understand what it is that we really want and need so that we can function at our best. But so often, leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs are very driven people and are pushing forward regardless of how they feel and not really taking the time they need to tune in and kind of check in with themselves. And so maybe that's kind of a new concept for you, the idea of checking in and just kind of seeing where you're at, but maybe asking yourself some really simple questions that may be challenging for you to answer. One of those questions would be, what am I actually feeling? It may be a struggle for you to identify in words what that feeling is, but the more you practice it, the easier it does get. And so that's kind of a clue. Once you know how you're feeling, what is it that you need to be doing differently, more of, less of, etc., so that you have more capacity to apply to the things that you need to be doing. Another question you might ask yourself is, what I'm trying to do realistic? So often I see leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs expecting so much of themselves, more than is humanly possible, and pushing the limits, even working extra hours in order to get what they think they need to get done. I challenge you to step back and be honest with yourself. What is realistic? What are you really capable of getting done? And there's no shame in prioritizing and not getting to it all. If in the process you actually save yourself and your capacity. Another question I see people not really taking the time to think about is, what is it that you really want? You know, oftentimes as a driven individual, which I am a driven individual as well, and I get this, is that you are pushing forward with those goals and all, but not really checking in with yourself. What is it that you really want? You know, are those goals actually the most important things, or are there people or situations that you really do need to be tending to, including yourself? You know, that is, we often neglect ourselves, and as a part of that tuning in, we're not really paying attention to the kind of things that would actually rejuvenate us. So what is it you really want? And then just one more question, even though I have more for you. If you check on the link below, there's a blog, has many more questions that you can ask yourself to kind of check in and see how you're doing in that capacity department. The last one is, what do you really need in this season? You know, sometimes things happen in life and you don't really give yourself permission to grieve, permission to rest, permission to practice self-care. What is it you really need in this season? Protecting your capacity is something that will really serve you well, especially as we go into challenging seasons like the holidays or end of year. So what can you do in this season to pause, tune in, and really evaluate what's possible? Hey, I'm Marve Iconis from Lead Life Well, and I would love to have the opportunity to help you tune in and become a person who has more capacity to do what's really most important. If that's something you'd be interested in doing, hey, check on the link, schedule a time where we can have a coffee chat and just explore how working together might benefit you.